Hi, welcome to our Success Academy training series. My name is Prucka Edson, and I'm the Grand Upline and the team leader of the Success Empire team, the team that is doing wonders and the team that you have been privileged to belong to. I'm so excited that you have decided to be a part of our Norland opportunity. And today we're going to talk about your first move. What do you do when you become part of the Norland journey? I know that probably you might have not had a chance to know me before, so let me just introduce myself properly. I am a distributor of Norland. I live in Uganda, and I have been working with Norland for the past 6 years now. By God's grace, I've been able to grow my business. A few months of the business, I was able to hit my first rank of silver medal. Then I went to the second rank, which is gold medal. I hit the third, I hit the fourth, and currently I'm a blue diamond, which is the fifth rank in the company's compensation plan. I've achieved quite a number of amazing things. I am a multiple times international trip awardee. I am a multiple times car awardee. As a matter of fact, in the past 6 years, my wife and I have qualified for the Norland business cars 10 times. So those are 10 beautiful cars that we have taken home. I pride in my achievements, not just what I have gotten myself, but what I have led my team to become. I have led one of the biggest and fastest growing teams in Africa, the Success Empire. Amazing testimonies from so many leaders. As a matter of fact, we have more than 50 people that have qualified for their cars in the past 6 years. That's a great achievement that we have in the business. And not only car awards, but also a number of lives that have been changed, more than 12,000 families who can stand here and testify that this opportunity has changed their lives. Now, I was giving you that background so that you can have an idea of who I am and probably to build a case for myself so you can believe and you can trust that what I am talking about, I know it. I have built a business. I have led thousands of people to become successful in this business. And so I believe that this particular session that we're going to have together this day is going to be transformational for you. I hope you have dreams, and I hope you really want to become successful. I hope you want to change your life, and I hope you have goals that you want to achieve. Otherwise, if not, then we don't have business together. My job as an upline, my job as a leader, as a coach, as a mentor is to help you achieve your dreams, to help you achieve your goals. So as we get started with our training, I will first of all talk about the business because I want you to understand the model of business that we are dealing with. I don't know if you have heard of this gentleman, Robert Kiyosaki. He's the guy who wrote the famous book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, Robert wrote another book which I want to quote particularly. It is called The Cash Flow Quadrant. An amazing book. I recommend that you purchase that book and read it. Now, in that book, Robert talks about the 4 ways in which you can make money. 4 ways you can make a living. Number 1 is you can make a living as an employed person. You can make a living as a self-employed person or a business owner or an investor. There are 4 of them. Now, I am not going to talk bad about any of these. As a matter of fact, I know there are so many people who have become successful from any of these, and I believe that you have, one or two that you are familiar with. But I just want to make a highlight of some of the challenges that you're gonna find in some of these, some of these ways, some of these business models, so that I can help you to see which could be a better way for your life. So begin with the employed. I think this is what most of us grew up knowing. It means go to school, study hard, get good grades, you'll get a good job, and the job will take care of you. This is how many of us have been brought up. This is what our parents told us from the beginning. Now, eventually, after you've graduated, you get to realize that life is not as beautiful as you expected. You know why? Because somebody now determines your future. Somebody determines your income. Somebody determines what time you wake up, what time you go to sleep, how much money you earn at the end of the month, and all this. Now, as a result of being under the control of somebody, at least you know that this is not the best way that you can achieve your dreams. In fact, there's nobody who has ever become rich through employment. That you know, isn't it? So definitely employment is not the best. Now, when many people are tired of being employed, they switch to the S quadrant, which is the self-employed. What happens there? They start their own business, either salon, a barber shop, a clinic, a restaurant, whatever business you can think of. Most of these retail stores are actually self-employment opportunities. Now, as a self-employed person, the only difference you have created is that instead of somebody controlling you, now you have your own business controlling you. What do I mean? Assuming you had a restaurant and it's probably 7:30 p.m. or maybe 10 p.m. in the night, you're tired and you begin to shut down the door because you want to go home. But maybe you could be having some food in the fridge. And as you shut down the door, a couple of guys approach, maybe 5 of them, and they start asking, Sebo, is there food? Or you now made it? What do you do? Do you continue shutting down the door, or what do you do? I think you kind of lie about it and say, I was just trying to see if my door is working, isn't it? Now, in self-employment, this is what happens, that no matter how tired you are, you have to be there. No matter how sleepy you feel, you have to get out of bed and go to open that shop. You have to be there, because the longer you open the shop, the more money you make. But how many hours can you have your shop open? It's only 24 hours. It's only 24 hours that we have in a day. And you cannot operate 24 hours. So it literally means that even as a self-employed person, you have a limitation. So Robert talks about the better way of life, which is the right side of the quadrant. And that is the business ownership or the investor. What is business ownership? You have a system. So you have people that are working through a system. The system determines the growth of the business, and the system determines your paycheck. Your earning is not determined by how many hours you go to work. Your earning is determined by how fast or how efficient the system is. Now, of course, there are many people who have systems. The challenge is that it's quite expensive to set up a system. So for many people, it becomes an impossibility, because you might not have the monies that will buy you a good system. Otherwise, if you had one, I believe you could have, by now you'd be a different person, isn't it? So in the business ownership model, we realize that you are not working for a paycheck. You're working with a system and the system pays you, which is a better way. It means you can go to sleep and you still make some money, isn't it? And after you have accumulated the good money, now you can cross down to the last quadrant, which is the investor side. The best one, of course, where you use money to make money. Now, being an investor definitely requires millions of dollars. It's not these small investment platforms of $10,000, $5,000, $2,000. You're not yet an investor. No. Investors are people who own shares. You own shares in the bank. You buy shares in the oil company, refinery, whatever it is. Those are the people we call investors. Now, today I want to point you to the third quadrant, which is the business owner. And I want to let you know that there is a unique business system that does not require a lot of capital, but it belongs under the business ownership. You're not self-employed. You're not employed. You are working for yourself, working with a system, and your income is determined by the efficiency of that system. And that business is what we call the network marketing business. Now, network marketing is not marketing. I want you to get the difference between these two. There is marketing and then there is network marketing. They are very different. Now, I know you know marketing, right? I will just define network marketing. Now, network marketing is basically a business model where a company decides to sell its products through independent distributors. Look at that picture on your screen. People partner with a company X, and by word of mouth advertising, these people are not working for the company. They are independent distributors. They are explaining and sharing the product with their friends, with their family members, what we call word of mouth advertising. Now, in most cases, these people are satisfied customers of that particular product. They have used the product, it has worked for them, and so they decide to roll it out, to share it with the people around them. That's what we call word of mouth advertisement. Now, when you look at the structure and how the network marketing model works, you realize that each of these people are earning money, and a lot of money, and each one earns a percentage of the production that comes from their team. So the bigger the team you have, the bigger the production, and definitely the bigger the income. And in this business model, the business production does not depend on your presence because each person is just following the system. So whether you're alive or dead, whether you're sleeping or alive, there can still come production. And as long as there is production in your team, you have an income to earn. Isn't that an amazing way of doing business? That's a system that belongs to the business ownership. Now, if you have read this book called Why We Recommend Network Marketing, written by Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump, of course, Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, he wrote this book together with Donald Trump before he became a president. And in this book, these two gentlemen, very successful gentlemen, recommend network marketing for 4 reasons. And I'll highlight them. Number 1, network marketing is a testimony-led kind of selling. What do I mean by testimony-led? Most of the selling is done by the testimony of the satisfied customers. Now, this becomes advantageous because people can relate, people can trust a testimony faster than the facts. Let me give you an example. If you heard about a certain type of phone from the TV, how long would the advert take? Maybe 5 seconds or 10 seconds, even if the advert took 1 minute. And then you hear about the same phone from a friend, maybe your OB or your OG, whatever it is, who has been using the phone. Which of the two adverts would you trust? The one on the TV or the one from your friend who has been using the same product? Definitely you'll trust the one from your friend, isn't it? So this is the advantage of word of mouth advertising, that the business moves so fast. There is trust because people are sharing with their friends, with their families, their own testimonies, and that's what speeds up the sales. 2, leverage. What is leverage? Leverage means the ability to make money from the efforts of others. It is only in network marketing where you can earn from the efforts of your team, even when you have not done much. And the other third thing is that there is a possibility that you can also earn what you call residual income. What is that? You get paid repeatedly from your past efforts. This is what I mean. You introduce a Norland product to somebody today, and this person becomes a member. Now, every time the product runs out, they come back and buy. Then they come and buy, and then they come and buy. So in network marketing, every time this person comes to buy something, you earn what you call residual income. So basically, looking at my own example, the people that I shared with these products 6 years ago, up to now, I still earn from their purchases. So you can imagine a system where you're literally earning from someone's lifetime purchases. It's an amazing one. And the other thing is that, of course, it requires low capital and it has the potential to grow into a multi-billion-dollar business. I can't tell you how much you would have to pay for my business right now if you had to pay, but at least definitely you wouldn't pay less than $1 million. But how much did I start this business with? $200, of course. But how many businesses out there do you know that can move from $200 to $1 million in 5 years? They're not very many, isn't it? So this becomes one of the best businesses that ever existed in the world today. And looking at some of the comments from the experts, I love this one from Robert Kiyosaki. He says, the network marketing industry offers a ready-made business system that can change anyone who wants to take control of their financial future. You want to take control of your financial future, network marketing is the easiest way that you can use. There's a gentleman called Stephen Covey, the author of the famous book, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Now, Stephen Covey also made a comment about network marketing. This is what he said. Network marketing has come of age. It is undeniable that it has become a way to entrepreneurship and independence for millions of people. And then I bring to you Bill Gates, the richest man in the world. What does Bill Gates say about network marketing? If I would be given a chance to start all over again, I would choose network marketing. Amazing. So you literally realize that there are so many very rich people, what I would call actually the richest people, who are recommending network marketing. Now let's again look at the president of America, Donald Trump. This is what he had to say on an interview with David Letterman, who asked him, Mr. President, What would you do if you lost everything and you had to start from scratch? Donald Trump, in his own words, says, I would find a good network marketing company and get to work. What does that imply? There is this business that you need to understand. And I know that many people have not understood this business. And that's why probably they don't take it serious, they despise it, and they call it all sorts of names. I want to let you know that you made the right decision to join network marketing. You made the right decision to join Norland. Let me briefly also talk about Norland and give you a reason why I would say it is the best. Now, looking at Norland as a company, this is a company that has established in the health and wellness industry, which is the fastest growing industry ever in the whole world. Now, the invention of regenerative restoration science, what we call regenerative medicine, has not only become the best and lasting solution to health challenges, especially chronic diseases, it has also become a game changer in the wellness industry. Looking at the testimonies, looking at the experience of the so many people, including myself, that have used these regenerative health products, you can truly tell that this is the product of the future. This is the business that you would recommend. This is a kind of product that will not shame you, at least. Looking at the products, first of all, they are preventive and curative in nature. That means they can prevent complications, they can treat and cure complications. Now, that's a very important part of the ingredient in this business, because I believe that more than ever, the market out there is searching for a product that can cure, a product that can eliminate the problem completely. And we have it here in Norland. Apart from that, if you look at the wide range of products, it gives you an opportunity as a businessman to make what we call multiple and repeated sales. Someone begins with a vision capsule for their eyes. After 1 week, they take a toothpaste. A month later, they come for a GI. After 2 months, they come for peptide. And then they have a detox. And then they have the nori pads to take. And they want also to test the pads. Then they test the immune vital. And there's so much for somebody to pick and to test. This gives you an opportunity to have a wider range of supply, because people can choose different things. Apart from that, the products are daily use products. You take it today, and after 3 weeks, it's done. You come back. So you have these repeat sales, and I think if you have a business that can give you what we call repeat sales, then you have a good business. That's where the biggest money comes from, not one-off, but repeat sales. And if you look at the compensation plan, on the other hand, honestly, it's good. It's very outstanding. A compensation plan where you can earn from your personal sales, a compensation plan where you earn from the group sales, group volume, and up to infinity, like the first generation, second generation, third generation, up to infinity. Everybody that joins in your team, whether you have 1 leg or 2 legs or whatever number of legs, you can earn from everybody in your team. That's a good compensation plan. And then lastly, I love the incentives. Cash incentives, international trips, cars, and house funds. I had the big dream, and I always looked at my dream home, and I kept asking myself, is it possible that I can live in this home? Well, I just had to work hard, and the day I became a blue diamond, Norland gave me my house fund. So when you look at these incentives, you're driving a good car which you have not bought with any of your money, no saving for it. You You live in a home without saving for it, without hustling so much. I think these incentives are a game changer in the industry as well. So looking at Norland as a business, the products and the business plan, these two create an unbeatable combination that definitely, when you make use of it, when you understand how the business works and you start making those moves, those baby steps, you'll see that your life begins to change. So I hope you have now realized that we have the best business and we have the best company. Now, what about you as a person? And I believe that if you want to succeed, then you have to also make sure that you are the right person in the equation. Right product, right business plan, and then the right you. That combination is what makes a difference. So talking about you, let me first tell you a few things that you need to dissociate with. I called them the 4 things that you don't need to succeed in this business. Number 1, credentials, degree, diploma, master's, whatever it is, level of education. Now, I'm not saying that your level of education is completely useless. I am not saying so. What I'm saying is that your level of education is just going to be an added advantage. But otherwise, I have seen many people, including myself, that are very successful in this business and they don't even have a degree. So if you have one, super fine, congratulations. But I want you to know that that degree is just an added advantage. Number 2, your family and your friends. I know it's obvious that you are excited about the products and you think your family and your friends are equally going to become excited. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Because you see, you might not be a messenger, you might not be a messiah in your own city sometimes. So if they accept and if they join, well and good, congratulations. But if they don't join, don't be disappointed. They can join you 10 years from now when you are already successful. So you don't have to stress yourself so much in case your family rejects the opportunity, in case your friends reject the opportunity. We'll talk about how you can still become successful without your family and friends later on. The other thing that you don't need is cheap advice. And I want you to be very careful with who you take advice from. You see, if you want to buy a Mercedes Benz, I drive a Mercedes and I know what it means. If you want to buy a Mercedes Benz, the question is, who do you consult? Do you consult your uncle who drives a Toyota Primo or Toyota Corona? Do you consult your father who is riding a motorcycle? Do you consult your brother who has never bought a car in his life? Or you consult somebody who is already driving a Mercedes? I think the latter is true. Learn to consult people who are successful. And I know that sometimes you are excited and you reach home and you start spilling the beans and you start telling people about the mail pads and someone is looking at you and they're like, even you, with all the education, with the whole of you. I don't know if you have ever got those kind of comments. Now, I got them and I know what I'm talking about. That's why I'm warning you that whenever you want to ask, whenever you want to get advice about this business, ask your upline, ask your crosser, ask the leaders who have succeeded in this particular business. Those are the right people to advise you. And lastly, perfection. Some people are expecting now to work with a perfect company, perfect upline, perfect business, perfect everything. It's not true. And there is no perfect business. There is no perfect company. There is no perfect upline. Norland has weaknesses as a company. And you're going to find out as you move along. But you see, there is an advantage. There is a strength that we can cling to. The compensation plan might not be the best, but it is better. The product might not be the best, but it is better. The opportunity might not be the best, but it is better. But even yourself, you don't have to be perfect. Come as you are. Begin to learn. Be ready to make the mistakes. You will improve with time. And that's what we call progress. So these are the 4 things that you do not need to succeed. Now, having looked at what you don't need to succeed, let me then take you through what you need to succeed in this business. There are also 4 things, and I highlighted them here. Number 1 is desire. You need to have what Napoleon Hill calls in the book Napoleon Hill calls it the burning desire. You see, all success starts with wanting something badly. That car that you love, that home that you want. My question is, what is your why? Why are you doing this business? What do you want to achieve from this business? And why? Is it your children? Is it your spouse? Your parents? What do you want to do for them? If you had an extra $100,000, what would you do with it? Which car would you drive? What clothes would you put on? How big would your wardrobe be? Ladies, I know you love the shoes. How many pairs of shoes would you have in your wardrobe? What would you do for your community, for your church? What would be the size of your tithe, your offering? What would you do for the orphans around you, your siblings, your relatives? What would you do with your success? I want you to define your why so clearly, because it is your why that will carry you through the challenges. It is your why that becomes the fuel, the motivation for your success in this business. The second thing you need is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. You need to be excited. You need to have energy. You need to talk to somebody when you are excited. How can you find a nice toothpaste that can help somebody and then you're talking about it like as if it's bad news? Let me tell you, people buy the energy in your voice. People buy the excitement in your face before they even understand the facts. So the more you're excited about it, the more you become contagious to your prospects. Go and talk about this business with a lot of energy and excitement. You will see what happens. The other thing is knowledge. Knowledge. You see, you need knowledge. Knowledge is power. When you have no knowledge about something, forget about success in that thing. If you want to be a successful footballer, you need to go to a football academy and learn how they play football professionally. You need knowledge. You know, some of you think because you are a teacher, so now you can become successful. No. The way we teach in classroom is not the way we teach in this business. Even if you are a pastor and you are used to talking to thousands of people, when you come to this business, you need to learn. There is a different way of talking to people in network marketing. So you need to get those basic skills. Learn about the products. Understand these products one by one in your own way. You don't have to be a doctor, but at least spend time to understand what these products do and how they work. Understand the compensation plan. Learn how you are paid. How will you make money if you don't know how you are paid? They will cheat you. You'll meet disappointments. You'll set extravagant expectations because you don't know how the money comes. And I've seen many people who come in this business expecting so much. And I know it's because they have not understood how the business pays them. And the other thing that you need for you to become successful is action. Action. I know it's okay because I've just said that you need to go and read books, you need to go and watch videos, you need to learn, you need to train yourself. But listen, most of the learning will come from the doing. You have to be prepared to start the conversation. If you don't start the conversation, nobody will buy the product. So it's either physical conversation or a WhatsApp chat or whatever it is, text message, but whatever it costs, be ready to start the conversation. It's that conversation that eventually turns out into money and the success that you desire. So those are the 4 things that you need to succeed. And the rest is just what we call strategy. But these are the most important pillars of your success. Now, let's get started with the strategy. What exactly do you need to do? Now that you have understood the pillars, what exactly do you need to start with? Number 1, I want you to go through the product catalog again. I know that sometimes we join the business, but we've not understood what the products are. Open the book and start reading those products one by one. Find out which of these products do I need for myself. Because I want you to place your first order right away. And that order will include the products that you need yourself, the products that are needed by your family members, and the products that are needed by some of your close friends. The truth is, it's easier to sell a toothpaste when you have it than when you're just talking about a toothpaste and somebody cannot see it. So make sure that you have stock. Make sure you have some products for yourself to do the business. Number 2, you need to learn the back office. Don't allow anybody, not even your upline, to be operating your back office. Learn how to log in your account. Learn how to place orders. Learn how to track your team sales, how you can check your PVs, how you can see the production of your team. But also, you need to learn how to withdraw money, how to transfer money, and all these basic things. You don't need much, but at least learn the basic things about your back office. And the third thing that you need to start with immediately today is your name list. Now, it's not yet time to start talking to people, and I want you to be very careful here. Don't talk to anybody yet before you write a name list. Now, what's a name list? Simple terms, just like the word goes, a name list is a list of names. Whose names? People that you know. So you're going to write down a list of all the people that you know. I mean, all of them. Whether they like the business or not, just write them. Whether they are young or old, whether you love them or you hate them, this is business now. We put feelings aside. Whether it is, whether they are far away or they are closer to you, even if they live in another country, we just want to write a list of people that you know. So when you're writing the list, don't prejudge. Don't prejudge. Don't start thinking, oh, this one doesn't like this. Oh, this one doesn't like that. No. Just write the names. Later on, we will sort out who to begin with and who not to talk to. But for now, just make the list as comprehensive as possible. Let me give you some little bit of guidance on how you write your list. And I hope you can pull out a pen and a paper so that we go through this memory jogger together. We just want to, to trick your mind. I just want to trick your mind to remember as many people as possible. To begin with, your family members. Now in Africa, family is extended, not nuclear. Your parents, your siblings, your uncles, your aunties, your nieces, your nephews, even the distant relatives. I mean, everybody that you would call family, your clan. Put down each of their names. Young or old, put down their names. I'll tell you what to do with those names later. Now, after you've written down the names of your family members, let's go to your OBs and OGs. Beginning with your nursery, where you went for nursery, go to your primary school. If you started from 3 primary schools, write down all the 3 primary schools. Go to the secondary school. Go to, high school. All your OBs and OGs, everyone that you studied with, try to remember as many as possible. Who was a footballer, who was in the debating club, who used to fight for food, who used to eat less, who got pregnant in senior 2, who fought with a teacher, who never liked tucking in. Try to remember as many as possible in this category. Just write down their names. Whether you have their phone numbers or not, it doesn't matter. Just write down the names. Then we'll go to your college alumni. Whatever college you went to or universities, try to remember all of them and write down their names. Then we'll go to your current work, where you are working currently. Who are you working with? Write down their names. Then we'll look at your past work. Where have you ever worked before? If you have ever done 10 jobs or you've ever worked with 10 different companies, try to list down at least 2 or 5 names that you can remember from each of those companies. Then we go to your wedding list. Then we go to your neighborhood. Both the former neighbors and the current neighbors. Everywhere you have ever stayed with your auntie, you stayed with your uncle somewhere, all those neighbors that you lived with, try to remember as many names as you can. And then we'll go to clubs and organizations. Rotary, Lions Club, choir, Mothers Union, Stingy Men, if you belong to the Stingy Men, whatever organizations you belong to, all those circles, savings and credit organizations, charity organizations, every club that you belong to, remember people there and write down their names. Let's go to the sports. If you're a sports lover, you know some teams, right? Uganda Cranes, Chipolopolo, Harambee Stars, Arsenal, Man U, whatever. Try to remember all those teams and think about who you know that either plays with them or is a fan of those teams. Then we go to places of worship. Where have you ever gone to worship from? Either mosque or a church. All the churches or mosques that you have ever stepped your chigere, your feet, remember them and try to list a few names of people that you can remember from those churches. Now we go to locations. Who do you know in other cities? Write down all the cities in Uganda, all the cities in your country, and also some of the cities are across Africa and out of Africa, because this business will grow. It's growing out of your town and you need to have partners in those cities. Now, the person you know in Germany might not become the business leader, but they could connect you to another person who will eventually become the superstar in that market. So try to remember as many people as possible, because some of these people will become bridges for you to establish in that city. Then we have professionals, doctors, lawyers, accountants, pastors, engineers, police officers, chefs. Try to write and remember all the professions you know and write down a few names of people who belong to those professions. Now we have other network marketing companies. Think about all of them and write down a few names of people that either work there or have been there before. And then you realize that there are some people still in your phone book that you haven't written yet. Who are they? Can you write them down? Now you realize that with all these, how many names do you have so far? Probably 500, isn't it? At least if you can have 10 names of each of these, you'll have 200, 300, 500, 1,000. And I want to encourage you, write as many as you can, because your name list is your raw material. This is now the garden where we are going to start farming from. This is the garden where you're going now to start picking one by one. So the bigger the garden, the better the chances of your success. Again, don't prejudge. Just write the names, and then later we will see what to do with the names. Now, after you've written down the names, it is now time for you to contact them. What do I mean by contact them? I've not said you do the presentation. You don't have to do the presentation. You just have to reach out to them. You want just to talk to them and rekindle the relationship. You see, before you talk to somebody about your product, you need to first ensure that your relationship with this person is in good terms. And I know that some of the people you wrote in that list, some of them you've taken years without talking to them. So first build the relationship. First rebuild the relationship. Make some conversations. I have this formula that I always recommend. It's called FORM. FORM stands for family, occupation, recreation, and then motivation. Family, occupation, recreation, and then motivation. In other words, as you're conversing with them, as you give them a call and catch up with them, catch up with some of the memories, remind them of some of those great days you had in school, those days you had, whatever it is, catch up with those moments. But as you're catching up with them, you are intentional. You're asking them about your family. How are your children? How is your mother? How is your father? Oh, Banange, your father used to love you so much. I remember the way your father would come carrying you. How is he these days? And then she says, oh, my father is very weak these days. He has cancer. My father has this. So as you're interacting with them and asking them about their family, about their job, about their recreation, how they spend their free time, their weekends. This person probably used to love clubbing, or they used to love swimming. And you ask them, do you still swim? Do you still go clubbing? Do you still go to watch football? And then they tell you the reality. Oh no, I wish I could. The work is too much. I don't have any time even just for my family. I don't have time for swimming. So as they are sharing with you their challenges, you are writing down those challenges. That's what we call the red button. That's what we call the what? The red button. Now, as you share with them, I want to caution you. Don't act like as if you're interrogating them. When they answer, tell them about yourself as well. So it's a two-way conversation. They talk about themselves, you also open up to them. In that way, you're trying to build trust. You see, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Three things. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. So the more you know somebody, the more you like somebody, the more you trust somebody, the more you want to do business with them. So the reason why you're having these conversations is to establish the trust factor, to establish the know factor, the like factor, so that they can be able to do business with you. Now, at the right time, when now you have established a relationship and you feel these people are now good to go, now you can start setting up appointments with them to come and have a look at your presentation. Now you can invite them to come to attend a presentation, or you invite them to watch a certain video link, or you are inviting them for a Zoom presentation or an event, whatever it is. Now, the timing varies here. If it is someone that you have already been in touch with, that one you don't have to take so long. You can immediately introduce them to the opportunity. But if it's someone that you have not been in touch with for long, first rebuild the relationship and then introduce them to the business. When you're inviting, stick to their red button, stick to their needs. Remember, you have already discovered their need in the other form conversations. So now you're sticking to the need and you're inviting them based on what they said they needed. I will give you an example just in a short while, but let me also make this point before I give you an example. It's better to invite using a phone call than a face-to-face conversation. You know why? A phone call, even if you're timid, even if you're scared, nobody will see that. But if it's a face-to-face, they can see that you're scared. They can see that you're not confident. They can even ask you questions, and you'll end up explaining even before they come to the presentation. So to avoid all that, even if you spend the whole day with somebody during the day, don't invite them for the meeting. Call them in the evening and say, hey, uncle, during our conversation at lunchtime, you mentioned this and this and this. I have discovered something. I have found something that can help. So phone call are better. And then the other thing is that make as many phone calls as possible so that it helps you to become more confident and also drive away the fear. You know, if you do phone calls, many of them in one sitting, you become more confident as compared to if you do one phone call per day. You can do like 10 at once, 20 at once. That will help you to get away with the fear and anxiety. Now, let's talk about setting up the appointment. What should you do? What should you say when you're setting up an appointment? First of all, the appointment call, this particular phone call, should be as brief as possible. As brief as possible. 2-3 minutes, and that's it. That means you give a simple greeting. Don't ask so many things. How is mother? How is grandmother? How are the children? How are the chicken? How many, goats do you have currently? No need. Just ask somebody, hello, hi, how are you? They say, I'm fine. And then you go to the point. Second step, after you've greeted them, you need to quote them on what they mentioned as their need. Quote their problem. If, for example, somebody said they had a tough boss and they hate their work, you call them and say, Anna, when we were discussing yesterday, you mentioned that you hate your boss. Were you serious about it? If she said it's her mother who was sick, and then you're going to call her and ask, Anna, you mentioned to me that your mother is diabetic and you're worried about her situation. Were you serious about it? I think I have found a solution. So after you've quoted their problem, now you can declare that you have found a solution. And after you've declared the solution, you now give the details of the meeting and ask them if they would come for the meeting. The same thing you do if you're inviting somebody for a Zoom presentation. The same thing you do if you're sending somebody a link, you're sending them a video, you're sending them a flyer, you're sending them any tool. Don't just send the tool. You first prepare the ground for the tools to work. Are we together? Fantastic. Let me give you a quick example for you that you can relate with. So assuming you had a conversation with this friend called Anna, maybe, yesterday. So you could give this kind of a phone call to Anna. I just want to do an example so that you can know what I'm talking about. Hello, Anna. During our conversation yesterday, you mentioned that your mother had diabetes and that you're worried about her health. Well, I think I've found a solution. There is a very good health product that I know about, and I've seen so many people with the same condition like hers getting better within a few days of using this product. Anna, if I shared a short video that can explain how this product works, would you spare a few minutes to watch it? What do you think Anna would respond? Most likely, yes. She would be happy. She would thank you, say, thank you for thinking about me. Thank you for remembering my mother. Please send me the video right away. Now that way, by the time she receives the video, she's ready to watch the video. The same formula you can use if you're inviting her for the presentation. The same formula you can use if you're inviting her for an event. So the process is the same. And I love this approach of Eric Worre, the if I would you. If I sent you a video, would you make time to review it? If I invited you for a meeting, would you make time and come for the meeting? If I connected you to the doctor, would you create time and call the doctor? If I made an appointment for you with my leader, would you make time and come and meet the leader? So whatever you're doing, make sure that you ask them, if I would you. That is a statement that makes them to commit before you share your invitation out. So you want them to make a commitment first, and then later you can now give them the invitation. Now, I hope you have realized that it's very easy for you to make some invitations, right? And I hope we can do some, quick challenge right now, and you send out some quick invitations, especially for people that you already know their why. You already know their red button, right? Okay. Now, another thing that you'll need as we wind up is you will need to develop a story so that you can share your story with all your prospects at every avenue possible. Listen to me. At every avenue, every time you're going to talk to someone about this business, remember to share your story. In this business, facts tell, stories sell. What do I mean? Yes, it's okay to talk about the facts, but it is more effective to share a story because people buy when they know that someone else has ever used and improved. People bond with the story more than the facts. So, I want you to know that actually all the top distributors that you know about, they're just good storytellers, nothing much. So you need to learn to develop your story. You need to craft a good story which is able to sell. And I mentioned a few things. I wrote down a few things to guide you as you make your story. First of all, you'll talk about your struggle. In other words, what was your life like before Norland? You were sick, you were poor, you were struggling, you had a nagging boss, you were stressed, you had UTI, whatever it is. So it's important for you to mention in your story. I'm now giving you like the bumper lines of what to talk about in your story. First is your struggle, what life looked like before. And then you talk about the discovery. How did you find out about Norland? Was it a phone call? Was it on Facebook? Was it a friend who called you? Was it a visit at the office? What was it? How did you find out about Norland? And then you talk about the transformation. What happened after you tried the toothpaste? What happened after you joined? what happened after you tried the pads. So you want to share what happened immediately when you started using the products. That's what we call the transformation journey. And then you talk about the future. What do you see in the nearby future? Where do you see yourself? How do you see yourself in the near future? And then lastly, you give what we call a call to action. Ask if they want to try. You've already shared with somebody all the basics, all the stories. Ask them, would you want to try this product? Would you want to try this business? Would you want to join and see what happens? Would you want to try it for yourself? So don't forget to ask. The story ends by asking somebody to take action. Now, one important thing about telling a story is that whenever you're sharing your story, you need to be real. You need to be you. Don't talk like a robot. Don't fake it. Be real, be you. Why? Because people want to interact with their fellow human beings. And what makes us relate is something called feelings. Whether you're black or white, Chinese, African, European, Asian, whatever race it is, there is one thing that is common in all of us, and that is feelings, emotions. Make sure that you share your feelings, you share your emotions. Your story should not only carry the facts, it should carry the emotions. Actually, it should be one that makes people to see what you are going through. When you tell somebody, I was so broke, you need to, demonstrate. People need to see how painful it was. You need to talk about what it feels, what it felt like. When you were telling someone I was sick, mention those particular areas that hurt you the most, how it felt like, what the infection did for you. And then you can tell them how you feel right now. When you share feelings, people relate with your story more. Let me talk about something that is going to happen to you very soon if it hasn't happened already. This is what we call objections and rejection. Objections, of course, means you're trying to sell something to somebody and they object. They bring what we call excuses. There are those common objections. The product is expensive. I am too busy. I don't have time. What if I fail to get people? Those are what we call objections. Now, something very important for you to note. Objections and rejections are not signs of failure. They are proof that you are in the game and you're moving closer to success. In other words, you should expect them. Don't fear rejection. Don't fear objections. Expect that people will challenge you. People will reason with you. People are, human beings want to reason. So when people reason with you, don't fear, don't feel bad. Embrace them and grow through them. There's another training that I want you to watch, which I did about handling rejection. In this training, I talk about the detail and the different types of rejections and how best you can handle these rejections. I want you to look out for that video and learn how to handle rejections. But this is the key thing that you can pick, at least for today. For now, when you're handling rejections, don't talk too much. Listen to somebody. Listen attentively. Sometimes what they are talking is not what they mean. So you need to listen. Don't pretend like you have already understood what they're asking. Listen to them. If you have not understood, ask, what do you mean? Someone says, what if I fail to get people? Ask them, what do you mean? They will explain again. So keep asking until you have understood what they meant. When you're handling objections, have empathy. Feel for them. Okay? Make sure that you put yourself in their feet. Because even before you joined, you had objections, you had some fears. So make sure that you have empathy, put yourself in their shoes, and look at the opportunity from their angle, not from your angle. Share stories. Use as many stories as possible, because people can relate with stories, and by sharing stories, they are able to relate and they are able to believe that what you have is good enough. Keep the door open. Don't cross anybody out of your netbook, of your name list, simply because they had a lot of questions, simply because they rejected you. Rejections are not personal, and don't take it personal. Don't lose that relationship with somebody simply because they didn't join your business. Keep the relationship with them. One day, they will understand. Remember, your job in this business is education and understanding. Now, lastly, let's talk about your first 3 months. The first 3 months in this business are very, very transformational. They are very important, that you need to handle them with care, because it is your foundation that you're building. Let me talk about some of the things that you need to expect. And I have already mentioned some of these. You need to expect some objections. You need to expect some rejections. You need to expect what we call the growth pains, disappointments here and there. But also, at the same time, I want you to know that there's going to come what we call fast wins. Those small profits will come. Those few people that join your business, you're going to earn bonuses. You're going to qualify for some incentives. You're going to get some new customers. You're going to get a team. So I want you to be expectant for both the pain and the reward. Remember, consistency beats intensity. What you should focus on is the consistent conversations. As long as you're constantly talking to people, you are better off than somebody who talks to 10 people in one day and then they spend another 1 month without talking to anybody. Make sure that every day you give yourself a target. Start those conversations. Begin to share your story, your product story, your business story, your excitement, whatever it is. Begin those conversations. Aim at talking to 2 to 3 people every day. Try as much as possible that every day you give yourself a target of 2 to 3 people every day. The more you share, the faster your business grows. Set some goals for yourself. Your income goal. What do you want to earn in the next 3 months? How much money do you want to make in the next 3 months? You could break it down into weekly goals. What is that rank that you want to get by the end of the 3rd month? Make sure that within 3 months, you get your first rank, the silver medal rank. It's very important to weigh your progress. And activity. I think we already talked about this. Let me just emphasize it one more time. Activity is what creates the difference. So the question is, how many people will you talk to every day? How many? Set yourself a target and say, every day, I want to talk to 3 people. I want to talk to 5 people. Whatever number it is. Make sure that you have an activity goal for yourself that you can run with. My friend, as you begin your Norland journey, I want you to know and I want you to remember that success is not built overnight. It's not. Success is a journey that is built on a daily basis. Activities that you do on a daily basis, consistently. That is what will build and determine your success. All of us that you see at the top of the game, we all started just like you. The difference is that we started earlier and we have done so many activities. So do those activities. Don't fear. Try the way you are. You don't have to be perfect. Do what you can. Activities will give you the results. I want to end with this statement. It's a quotation that I learned from one of my biggest mentors, Jim Rohn. He says, "Success does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who take the first move and never stop moving." The fact that you have started today, the fact that you have listened and you have learned what it takes, I want to challenge you. Can you take your first move? And I want to give you assurance. I'll be your biggest fan. This is just the first training that you have had. There are multiple other trainings. Just make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you can continue accessing our trainings. I can assure you that with the training system that we have as the Success Empire team, with our support structure, you are the next success testimony. And I'll be there waiting for you at this stage to celebrate your success. Now, go try it. Go do it. If I have done it, you can do it too. Go and do it. You'll thank me. I wish you all the best, and I hope to hear your story one of these days. Bye-bye.